Hello Night Watchers, subscribers, and new viewers. This isn't going to be the usual intro, it's more of an update. So, to skip ahead to the stories, skip to 5 minutes. As many of you may have heard, YouTube is under a massive boycott by major brands. This means content creators like me have seen a massive drop in revenue, and many smaller channels unfortunately will die. This is why ever since I started YouTubing, I've been working hard to find another source of income. And for this reason, I haven't been uploading as much as I usually do, but things will go back to normal soon, I promise. The reason this is happening is because the past 2 months I've been working on a huge project to launch a new website, as well as an app that you guys would love, while also bringing in more revenue to allow this channel to survive, with or without YouTube ads. So today, I'm happy to show you what I've been working on and why I'm so excited about it. For those who haven't skipped ahead yet, you're in for a sneak peek. This is the new Darkness Prevails website. It hasn't launched yet, but its design is much more focused on being sleek and suited to what you guys want. As you can see here, users can post stories as usual, but now they can be voted on and sorted by popularity or date. Now these posts I'm showing you are all tests, so the titles don't make sense. Even better, you no longer have to wait for me to publish your story. All you have to do is type it out and post it. Then bam, it appears on the front page for others to vote on and discuss. More so, you can now save a draft of your story for later if you haven't finished it yet. You'll also get your own profile, where other users can see how many stories you posted, how many comments you may have left, how many times you've upvoted stories, and even your bio. Now that's just the basic stuff. What I'm really excited about is a complete game changer. And this is something I'm so excited about releasing and polishing up that I've been too scared to talk about it. Now this feature is just a rough draft, really, but it does work. Alright guys, are you ready? This is the Global Sightings map. This is where you can post your own story, read stories, or even visit the location of experiences people have had around the world. This is amazing, as it will show where stories come from. It will reveal hotspots of activity. So if you click a marker on the map, you'll get information about the story, and if you want to read it, you can click View Story, or we can do something really cool. If we zoom in enough on the marker, and then we drag this little guy over here over to the marker, we can visit the location of the sighting. You can be where the scares happened. Of course, this is approximate location, and only works if a road is nearby, but it's still so cool to be there or see where sightings seem to be happening. Could you imagine this map being filled worldwide with paranormal experiences and cryptid sightings? This would be the go-to place to see correlations, to know what's happening all around the world. This is something I've been dreaming of. I do need to say this about the website though. This website and app will offer a paid monthly membership for those who want it. Free members will be able to do everything I've shown you here, so no worries. Paid members are those who want to keep this channel alive, and it will cost no more than $4.95 a month. I know many of you will hate me for it, but YouTube just isn't stable. And I don't want to ask for donations, because if I did, you guys wouldn't get much in return, just the usual videos. So I'm not too sure what I'll be doing for paid members, but I've thought about allowing paid members to download the audio of any and every video they like, maybe extra stories for members, watch new videos early, or maybe even get a badge on their profiles on the website. Paid memberships will be for those who want to go above and beyond, who really believe in this channel. And someday I hope every subscriber here will be visiting the website as well. I'm giving you guys this sneak peek into the new website because I need your opinion. I want to know if you're excited about it, what you think of the features, and I especially want to know what you think of the paid membership. So thank you all for listening. I really cherish each and every one of you who come back to view my videos. Those who are brave enough to share their stories. You have created this channel. You sustain it. I am simply the curator, and I owe every bit of this to you. Anyway, enough of my jabbering. You guys are here for some creepy gaming stories after all, so enjoy these allegedly true stories of creepiness around gaming. Also, the winners of the 5 $20 Amazon gift cards for March are Axel the Pupper, Shining Star Adopts, who has some really awesome speed drawing videos on their channel, Adyaha Alexander, Weekly History, and Priscilla Ramirez. Check your YouTube inbox and spam for my message to claim your prize. Number 1. Clash Royale Creeper. Submitted by Jude. I am 15 years old, and I live in Vilnius, Lithuania. This story took place when the new mobile game, Clash Royale, was just coming out, and I was really excited to play it. The goal in the game is to destroy enemies' towers with your troops if you haven't played it. So now that you know that, let's get on to the story. When I installed the game, I was really into it. I just couldn't stop playing. I was playing it at home, on the bus, and even sometimes during my classes, though I shouldn't have been, and I think I was really good at it. I got to a pretty high level in a short time. One day I noticed that you can join clans, so I joined one. I met some really awesome people there. We usually do friendly battles for fun, and just talk about our daily lives. It was like having really good friends there, even though we didn't know each other in person. On a normal day at school, I think I had 7 lessons that day. I remember at lunchtime in the school's cafeteria while eating, I kept playing Clash Royale, when suddenly a notification in my clan's chat box popped up. It was a request to join our clan, and I accepted it. The person who wanted to join was at a pretty low level. He introduced himself as Mark, and he started talking about how he loves this game. I responded with the same thing, and it was true, because I was really enjoying it too. So a couple of days passed, just normal days, nothing really interesting or out of the ordinary, when Mark requested me for a friendly battle. Of course, I accepted it. The game began, and I started attacking him, and surprisingly, he did nothing. Of course, I won and asked him why he wasn't even trying. He responded with, "You're just so good at this game. Do you want to meet sometime in person to play?" Now, I wasn't feeling good about meeting with someone who I don't know, so I replied with, "I don't think that's a good idea." His next words were, "Why not? You live in Vilnius, right?" I responded with a basic, "Yeah, but how'd you know that?" His next response shocked me. "I know a lot about you. I know where you live, and I even have your phone number." I didn't take it seriously. I honestly thought he was joking. So I replied with, "All right, dude, that's enough of that." But he replies, "I'm not joking. I can prove it." As I sat there dumbfounded, I got a message on my phone saying, "It's me. This is Mark." When I read that, I felt sick, and I didn't know what to do. There was no way he should have had that information. I immediately wrote, "Mark, that's creepy. Why did you do that? How did you do that?" But there was no response. Days passed, and he didn't say anything, and my friends in the clan were wondering if I was okay, and I told them everything is fine for now. One day on Facebook, I got a friend request from a person who did not have any photos, posts, or friends, or even a profile picture. I had a bad feeling when I saw it, but I don't know why I accepted it, and I wrote a message to the person saying, "Hello, do I know you?" And they responded really fast, saying, "Did you forget me already? It's me, Mark." I didn't know what to say. After a couple of minutes, I replied, "Listen, you are taking this too far. What do you want, and why are you doing this?" Then this blank profile, who was apparently Mark, sent me a photo. It took me a moment, but then I recognized that the picture was of my school. And before I could even panic about that, I saw myself in the photo. It was a picture of students around the hallways heading to class, and there I was, just walking along my way, with no idea that someone was stalking me. At that moment, I was shaking. I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. I had never been in this situation. I asked him how he found this information. He responded, "Your Google account knows a lot about you." Had he hacked it? That sounded likely, because Clash Royale does require you to log in with your Google account to save your progress. I was done. I said that I would report him to the police, and then he became angry. He said merely seconds after I sent my message, "Don't you dare. I know where you live. I can easily come and find you. It wouldn't take long and I'll be knocking at your door, or knocking it down." I was scared for my life now, and I couldn't do anything about it. I continued to ask him what he wanted from me, and in response he simply said, "I want to play with you. Not in the game, just in real life. But I didn't know what that meant, but I imagined the worst. After that, I closed the messaging app and I logged off. The next day was terrifying. I was scared the whole day at school, and before I went to school, I was scared of going. I didn't know what awaited me, and when school was about to let out, I got a message. It read, "I'm waiting for you to leave school." I almost started to cry of fear at the moment. I went to the school window near the exit, but I didn't see anyone suspicious, just students leaving the school and going home. Soon I worked up the courage, and I felt safe, so I decided to go too. On my way home, I kept receiving photos from him, and of course, these were more photos of me at school. I couldn't stop looking around, looking over my shoulder to see someone, but I didn't see anyone, just normal people passing by, and nobody looking or taking photos of me. I did manage to get home safely, thank God, and I locked the door. My mom was at work and my dad doesn't live with us, so unluckily, I was home alone. There was a note from my mom on the kitchen table. She said she would be back soon, but she requested that I go to the store to get a few things. I really didn't want to leave the house because there was this creepy guy somewhere stalking me, but I also did not want to get into an argument with my mom, so I made myself go. And surprisingly, everything went fine. The same evening my mom got back home, I watched TV. I tried to act like everything was okay, but inside I was dying from fear. Evening passed and it was time to go to sleep. Somehow I made myself get in my bed and close my eyes. Now there was just me, silence, and darkness, but I still could not sleep. After about 10 minutes or so, I began to hear tapping noises coming from somewhere in my room. I was lying in bed facing away from my balcony door, but I could hear the tapping still coming, and it was coming from behind me. Slowly, I made myself turn around. I could feel my stomach turning knots, and when I looked over to the balcony, I saw a tall, dark figure tapping at the glass. Immediately, I ran to my mother. I was screaming and frantic, but I managed to explain to her that there was a psycho hiding in my room. Thankfully, she took me seriously. She took some pepper spray and we slowly went back to my room. We found nothing there, but my balcony door was now open, yet the man was nowhere to be seen. After searching the house to make sure no one was there, we called the police. I gave them the phone number and Facebook information of this person who has been messaging me, but I didn't really have any physical characteristics to give them. So weeks have passed since this incident, yet nothing has come from the investigation. They're still looking for Mark, and in the meantime, Mark has apparently deleted his Facebook account, left our clan, and I, after giving the data over to the police, have deleted every one of Mark's messages, and now he's only a nightmarish memory. Number 2. Strange Happenings. Submitted by Sam Jitt. This is a rather short story, however, it is a bit strange. My friend and I, Wallace, were playing online and talking over Skype, like every other night. However, this night was different. When I went online, my friend wasn't on. I knew he would be on eventually, but in that short time period, which was only about 5 minutes, I felt like I was being watched, but I could not tell where from. This got creepier when my mom left and I was alone in my house, which we only moved into 6 months before this event. Now, I don't normally feel like this when I'm alone, so I was used to it, and I did not know what to do, but I remained calm until my friend Wallace got on. Then everything was fine again. We were gearing up and it was all good until I felt something twist my computer chair. I thought that it was my dog at first, but then I realized that my dog was not in my room with me. This honestly scared the heck out of me, as I have never experienced anything like that before. I tried to ignore what just happened, and I continued to game with my friend, although a bit aware of my surroundings after that. Everything was fine again until we reached the end of the session. The two of us were about to head offline, as it was close to midnight, and we both needed to get up early in the morning. As I was about to end the Skype call, I noticed that someone was in our Skype conversation with us. Someone who couldn't be there. someone we did not add to the call. This is very, very strange because as far as I know, people can't randomly just join calls. That doesn't even make any sense. I said quietly to my friend, "Let me call you back." I quickly ended the call and then called him back so that other person wasn't in the call with us, and I said to him, "Did you see who was in our call?" He looked at me confused. He said no. Then we both checked our Skype screens for the recent calls, and lo and behold, that third person didn't appear. Then the most terrifying part happened. My friend suddenly asked me, "Why are you breathing so hard?" However, that wasn't me, because I was about to ask him the same thing. I still don't know what that sound was. To this day, I have no idea who it was or what I felt on my chair. After all of this, I have also had strange things happen around my house, such as laptops randomly being placed on my bed, even though no one else was home and I had just been using it. This has happened at least 3 times now in the last 9 months, and each new experience only creeps me out more. Number 3. Call of Duty Creep. Submitted by Synthetic Pulse. To begin this story, I need to say that I am a girl. I've been playing video games for as long as I can remember. As an only child to a very busy single parent, it was all my mother could think to do to keep me occupied. My mom started me off with a Nintendo Entertainment System, and after that, whenever a new console came out, I would beg for it until I got it. I was 16 when this story took place. I'm now 25. I was playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare on Xbox Live. As you can imagine, being a female online, I'm pretty used to people being creeps once they hear me speak. Nowadays, I stay in a private chat with friends, or I mute myself when playing with random people. I don't really like to deal with that sort of thing, or be mistaken for a 9-year-old boy. This story happened before I learned any tricks to avoid this, and this was the only time that someone really crossed the line with me. It may not be incredibly creepy, but it is the weirdest thing that's happened to me on Xbox Live. While attempting to communicate with my team, I caught the attention of one of my teammates, who sent me a friend request. I accepted the request because we had played a really good game, and we were getting along pretty well in the voice chat. Shortly after I accepted his request, he sent me a message. I opened it, and it was a voice message. An older man, my guess would be in their 30s or 40s, and it simply said, "Hey." I replied, "Hey, what's up?" We made a little bit of small talk after that. He asked me a few questions, but nothing that really seemed strange to me, until finally, he mentioned that he thought that I had a nice voice. Here we go, I thought, and I replied with a simple, "Thanks." He replied quickly. "Do you like to listen?" he asked. I was confused by this weird question. "Listen to what?" I asked. "To a guy," he answered quietly. I was still confused, so again I replied, "I don't know what you mean." And a few moments went by when he replied, "You know, do you like to listen when a guy takes care of himself?" As he was saying this, in the voicemail, I could hear him breathing in and out quickly and heavily. I took a moment to process what I had just heard. I replied to his message eventually in disgust. "No, God, no." A few moments went by and he replied, and in his reply he was laughing, and he said, "Oh well, it can't hurt to ask, right? Maybe you'll get used to it if we did it in person." I was thoroughly creeped out at this point, so I blocked the guy. He never tried to contact me again, most likely because my profile shares very little information about me, other than my first name, and I'm very thankful for that. Number 4. The Knocking on My Bedroom Door. Submitted by Harrison M. I was 13 when this story took place. I live in the southeast of the UK, and I'm a bit of a hardcore gamer. This all started when I plugged my old Xbox 360 into my new TV. I had decided to plug it in to play some old racing games, as I'm a bit of a car guy. I was sitting on my bed playing, which looks straight toward the TV, and it sits just to the right of my door. It's a really small room. Anyway, I was playing a game on the 360 when I heard someone knock at my door. I thought this was a bit odd as my parents were in bed and they don't usually knock, so I stood up and went to check. I opened my very stiff door and to my surprise, no one was there. That's creepy. I was thinking it may have been one of my dogs though, so I shut my door and went back to my Xbox. But I didn't know that this would happen for the next few nights. The same knock at the same time, me getting up and always thinking it may have been my dogs. Or maybe I'm not thinking it was my dogs, more like hoping. After a while of this happening, I decided to do an experiment. I wanted to know exactly what time it happened and to see if the knocks sounded the same. 3 nights go by, and I see that it's always 1:37 in the morning, and it's always 2 faint knocks, one after the other, the first slightly harder than the second. About a week after it started, I went back to playing my Xbox, and I wanted to see what would happen if I kept my door open instead. I was very creeped out by this and a bit worried of what I might see, but I was curious and I had to know. So, of course, 1:37 rolls around. I'm playing games and I can hear the knocking on my door. I'm thinking my door is open. How could someone possibly be knocking on it? But this time it isn't 2 knocks. They're getting faster and more aggressive. But on this night, the knocking just keeps coming, louder and louder, until those banging sounds are deafening. I was petrified. What the heck was going on? I grabbed my phone to turn on the flashlight, and I pointed it at the door. The door was vibrating with every knock, but the moment 1:38 rolled around, everything stopped, and it became silent, and then my Xbox turned itself off. What was even scarier was the next day, my mother came downstairs in the morning. She asked me, "Why were you so loud last night with all that knocking?" So I wasn't the only one that heard it. It wasn't a nightmare, it was real. At this point, I was paranoid. I was thinking that maybe my Xbox was haunted or something. So I moved it out of my room, thinking that I don't want to be there when whatever it is figures out how to do more than just knock. Number 5. Creepy experience while gaming. Submitted by Kevin L. I want to share a creepy experience that happened to me when I was playing one of my favorite games, Metro Last Light. To start off, here's a bit of story about the game and situation. The game is set in the year of 2035, 22 years after the world entered into a global nuclear war, which annihilated most of the world population. You spend most of your time in metro stations, tunnels, and other areas around Moscow. The game is really immersive, with amazing graphics, good music, ambiance, and sounds. But what would be a post-apocalyptic game without horror? The game sometimes takes you into these places, where the ghosts of people that died in the bombs still roam around, giving you flashbacks of the lost lives around you. These segments of the game are relatively short, and some can easily be missed as a hidden encounter that affect the good ending you can obtain. Now, let me tell you about my own creepy experience. At a certain point in the game, you're alone just as usual, but now you're riding a rail truck that is armored and equipped with lights all around. It makes you feel invincible for a moment. But the further you go into the tunnel, the more mutants try to kill you. They can easily be taken down with a few shots though. You soon reach a point where you must push a train that is stuck on a track, revealing more hidden rooms with ammo, guns, and money. The thing is, there's one of these rooms that I never should have entered. This room seemed to be a refuge for the people that were stuck in the train when the bombs fell. So the room is pitch black, filled with skeletons and a few medical supplies. That's when a scripted event happens around you. You walk up to a ghost sitting on a bed. Your flashlight battery is drained fast, and you can hear whispering from all around you. And more ghosts appear and whispers turn into talking, which then turn into screaming. The creepy event is unsettling to say the least, but normally everything goes back to normal and you would just walk out of the room. The thing is, my game sort of messed up. My PC was semi-broken at the time, and the game often crashed and bugged out, so sometimes I had to reset the game. So as I entered this haunted room, I got a game freeze as the game was auto-saving. This wasn't good, because that means I had to start from the beginning of the whole stage and lose all of my progress. But that time, unfortunately, the autosave was fine, and I spawned right back into the haunted room. But this was a problem, because like I told you earlier, crashing can cause the game to block you, and the door that allowed you to enter the room was now closed. It's not supposed to be closed, so you can't interact with it, and I was stuck in that room. After a minute or two of trying everything to get out of the room, the haunting began. The usual whispers, talking, and screams. But unlike the usual, the white flashing that happened after a special event didn't happen, and I was stuck in the room, and the haunting never faded. Instead, the screaming and whispers were indefinitely going, and they were getting louder and louder, until my game crashed again. I relaunched the game, but immediately I got a notification from Steam saying my game files were not found, which often turns out they are corrupted by a crash. I checked my game cache, repaired the folders, and launched the game. As I got on the main menu expecting that I have to start all over, I was presented with the usual options: new game, settings, DLCs, and continue. So I clicked continue, only to be loaded back into the haunted room, now with all of my equipment gone. Luckily, that door in the room was now open, so I exited the room before the haunting began again. After many attempts, I was never able to get the glitch to occur, even by breaking the game with the uses of hacks and game corruptors. But it's probably for the better. Say whatever you want about games, but they can be just as creepy as some real-life scenario when it comes to something that is not supposed to happen. And number 6. The Creeper on Xbox Live. Submitted by Colin C. I would like to start by saying that I'm not very scared of many things. I've always loved spooky stories and creepypasta, but you can't deny that one thing is always scary, and that's people. One night last September, I was chilling all alone in my house playing my all-time favorite game, Overwatch, playing my favorite character, McCree. Everything was normal, and I was having a great time like I always do. Suddenly, during a match, I heard a gruff noise on the voice channel. It was a seemingly nice man, and we had a good conversation together. Soon, I invited him to the group so that we could be in the same game after the match. He then started to say very weird things, very correct weird things, like, "How's that warm blanket?" and "How are those chips?" I was very confused right off the bat, and nervous, because I was eating chips and wearing a very fuzzy blanket. But I have it set to where you have to push a button to chat, so there's no way he could have heard me eating those chips, and he can't really tell when someone has a blanket on just by hearing it. I was creeped out, but I eventually just brushed it off. Maybe he actually could hear me eating the chips, and the blanket was just a lucky guess. Then he said other things. He said, "Why is your computer still on? And why is your window open?" And of course, he was right again. There was no way he could have possibly knew these things. I shut the game down and I pulled off my headset. I ran upstairs. Was this guy watching me? But he was in the game with me. I went back downstairs and I pulled the plug out of my Xbox, then the TV went black. I felt a wave of relief, even though I still thought I was being watched. And of course, I shut my window. Now, my Xbox is linked to my computer, so I figured that maybe he somehow hacked into it from my Xbox, or something like that. Maybe he hacked into a webcam or something, and that makes me feel a little bit safer, and that's the answer I'm sticking to. Well, I hope that's what it was, rather than some creepy stranger while playing games with me, watching me through my window. I just need to warn you that people are out there. Creepy people. It's easy to forget that people can do weird and harmful things until something like that happens to you. Even the nicest people can be hiding something behind their backs, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Gaming is a fun way to pass the time, relax, or even be social. It's like entering another dimension where you can do what you want. You can be who you want, but so can other people. People that might want to take advantage of you. Thanks to the anonymity of the internet and games, you'll never truly know the other person behind those avatars and profiles, unless they want to show you, and by then, it could be too late. Good night. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to send us your creepy diving stories soon at darknessprevails.org. Thanks.